Hey guys, how's it going? So this is going to be a quick guide on the best build for farming blood points with Survivor. Okay, so this is what, let me first classify what I mean by best. By best I mean the most consistent one. So on across all matches and variations of matches, you'll be able to maximize, in my view, the most of your points with this particular build, okay? So that's what I classify as best. It's not something that works in a particular situation, but works as best on pretty much across all situations, and consistently so, especially consistency is the key. So let me show you guys the build. This is the build I favor the most, and I'm gonna go over each of them, okay? And I'm gonna show you guys some variations. If you want to skip some parts of the video, I'm gonna have the timestamps, okay? So you can skip it maybe straight to gameplay or something, okay? So there's 4 categories, right, on the that we need for the blood points. There's the objective category, there's the survival category, there's the altruism category, and finally there's the boldness category. Now the survival category is going to be the most complicated one, okay? Because there's not many perks that can help us with that. And the altruism is the second most complicated, because, for example, if the healer doesn't hook too many people, it's hard for you to, for example, max out altruism. You know, maybe like a legion will allow you to get a lot more altruism points than something like a plague would, because you're never healing, for example. Okay. So with this build, we're gonna focus mostly on the categories that are the easiest for us to control, because remember, we're talking about we want consistency here. So for that, we're gonna have the boom circle of healing and prove thyself, okay? These are the most crucial ones you do not want to change. These other two, I'm going to show you variations that you can change, okay? Now, the reason for the boom circle of healing is to help us on the survival category as well as the boldness category, because when you make a boom totem, you get 1,500 bonus points, which is a lot, and you can pretty much do that, you know, across the entire match and just keep farming, you know, especially when the killer goes there and he, you know, he stops the boom totem and you boom it. You can always come back and boom it again. So that just keeps giving you over and over 1,500 bonus points, which is a lot. So you do that like 3 or 4 times, you're pretty much maxed out on bonus. Not to mention the rest that you're gonna get just by getting chased by the killer. Okay, so this is very crucial for the build, so we can max out on the bonus category, as well as because this allows us to self-care once we have the boom totem up or whenever we get injured. And this will allow us to help us build the survival category, okay? Because when you self-heal, you build the survival category, okay? The skill checks also for that also go to the survival category. And finally, as well, if you want to, depending on how you're playing, which I'm going to show you some examples, if you're taking a lot of protection hits, it also feeds as well, because when you take protection hits, it feeds into your altruism category, as well as it gives you the opportunity to go and heal on your bull totem, which again is gonna maybe give you points for placing the bull totem and even for the self-care for the survival category. Okay, so this perk is crucial for that reason. Now, second is prove thyself. This is also crucial because basically everything co-op is going to double our points, which is insane. It makes a huge difference. So especially on the objective categories, it makes it super easy to max out if you have prove thyself. You basically do 1.5 gens on co-op and you're already maxed out on the objective categories. That easy. But also, because prove thyself will also help us on the altruism. If we're healing on co-op, that also will give us double points on altruism, okay? So that's very important. It's going to help us tremendously on filling up that altruism as well. So for these reasons, these 2 perks are crucial. You should never get them off this build. They are mandatory. Now we get to the variations. Now bond, I think, is very crucial as well. And it's an amazing complementary to prove thyself, because it easily allows you to see your teammates on the gen, right? So you can find them to do co-ops. It also helps you to find people when they're injured, which is very hard if you don't have the aura readings, right? If you're not using empathy or something. But some people might prefer empathy here. I would say bond is better because it serves more purpose than just empathy alone. Is more focused on healing. Bond gives you information, you know, where the killer is chasing the person, where's the co-op gen, you know, which gens people are working on. And trust me, 36 meters right there is a lot of distance. You don't need any more than that. So it complements a lot with prove thyself. I'm going to show you that on some gameplays as well. And finally, we have the basic chase perk. Doesn't have to be that hard here. It could be sprint burst if that's your favorite life or whatever. I personally find that hard to be the best of all, so that's why I have it there. You can even use that hard for protection hits as well, which you cannot do with other exhaustion perks. So for that reason, that's why I have that hard here. And this is going to help us make that chase more consistent. Now, I consider myself a good player, so if you feel you're a very good player without chases, you don't rely on exhaustion perks to make the chase last long. You could change this for something else, okay? Which I'm going to show variations of. But it's not necessary that you have it. But if you feel like, you know, I feel safer with the chase perk, you know, by all means, go ahead and use it. So this would be the main build, okay, guys, that I recommend. Now let me show you some quick variations before we get to the gameplay, where I'll show you everything in action and why they are as good as I say they are. Okay, so now the first variation for this is for the bonus category. So if you don't want to use the circle of healing, you can use any means necessary. So basically, whenever it's like a cooldown, so you can just like the boon totem, you can do it repeatedly over the match. You can drop that pallets and lift them up. It's gonna give you bonus points. Okay, not as good as the circle of healing, but it's a different option there if you don't feel like going for the circle of healing, especially maps like RPD, for example. It can be really hard to find the totems. Another option as well for the bonus is the blast mine. Okay, you will get bonus points as well when the killer go there and you know kicks it. So just an option as well, a more passive option for the bonus category. Boil over, you also get a lot of survival category points, which remember is the hardest one when you're wiggling on the shoulder of the killer, especially when you hit those skill checks. Now it gives you a lot of points. So boil over could also help you fill up that survival category a lot faster, especially if you do not survive, because the best way to get those survivor points is by escaping the match, because it gives you 7,000. So if you die, more often than not, you're not going to max out on the survival category. So having other perks such as boil over can kind of help you push that a little higher, even if you happen to die on the match. Okay, another option you can try using is botany knowledge, just in case you wanna complement with the boon circle of healing. So that's gonna make you heal so much faster on the self-care there, on the boon totem. So if you guys want to complement that for whatever, like for example, instead of using that hard, you want to use botany so you can heal faster and have more self-care heals across the match, you can do that as well. Botany would be the recommendation here for that. Now another recommendation, if you want to bring an item, you could use build for last. And you know, just like a medkit or something as well, maybe a flashlight, and just use it then. And remember, these variations that I'm telling you guys is supposed to change for these two, okay? Either bond or dead hard. If you do not mean to use them, you can apply these that I'm talking right now. Another option as well that can help you on the survival category is decisive strike, because wiggling out of the shoulder grasp of the killer, it does give you survival points. I think it's 500 or maybe even 1,000. It's quite a lot. And using decisive strike maybe even gives you 1,500, I believe, on the survival category, which is quite a lot. So if you happen to get it to, and it's also an anti-tunneling perk, so it's gonna help you stay alive longer in case you happen to get tunneled, right? Which is good, because if you stay alive longer, you can have more time to make more points. So if you use decisive strike, it's good for that reason. If you happen to use it, it will help you on the survival category as well. Okay. Next we have Deliverance, which is the same idea from Decisive Strike. If you use Deliverance on the match, it's going to give you 1,500 points for unhooking yourself on the survival category, which is kind of huge as well. So it helps a lot. But again, this can be a little inconsistency. That's why I don't recommend it on the main build, because sometimes you don't even get Deliverance to activate it, so it's not consistent enough. But it does help a lot in the survival category if you can make it consistent. Another option as well that you can use to substitute for Decisive Strike is Off the Record, which is an anti-tunneling perk. But the idea here of these anti-tunneling perks is basically just to keep you alive longer in case the killer happens to tunnel you, okay? Because again, if you're dying fast, you're not making points, regardless of the build. So staying alive is important. So if you feel like you're struggling, you're getting tunneled so much, definitely put on a Decisive Strike or an Off the Record in the build there, along with Prove Thyself and the others. So that you can help you last longer in the match, okay? So you can actually make more points. Another option is open-handed, just in case. I already tell you guys, like 36 meters is a lot. You don't need more than that. But just in case you want to combo, like for example, take dead hard for open-handed, so to increase even more the range of those 36 meters on bond, feel free to do so. But I don't think it's necessary. But this is an option as well, open-handed. Another option for the boldness category, in case you do not want to use the circle of healing, is Saboteur. Okay, you can basically go around saboing hooks, and it's going to give you boldness points as well. Okay, next, this is a very huge one as well. This combo is just as well as the bond combos with Prove Thyself, which is small game. So this is a very big recommendation for me. If you do not want to use that hard, I would probably recommend that you use this instead to combo with the circle of healing, because it's very easy to find totems, especially on maps like like RPD or the game that are hard to find totems. If you have small game on, it's very easy to find those totems pretty much on demand, and you can then boom them to farm your boldness, remember? So this facilitates a lot on farming of the boldness with the boon totems, okay? Small game, if you want to put it on the build as well. Finally, another variation you can also use here is Stakeout. Stakeout is going to give you, basically going to guarantee that you're always getting great skill checks, which pretty much nets you double the points. Especially on the gens, it's like 300 for a great skill check, so it's quite a lot. You hit 4 of those, you're basically already getting more than 10,000 points just for the skill checks alone. So this is going to help you fill up all categories, right? Because even the self-care category, you're going to have skill checks. Altruism, you're going to have skill checks. And objective, you're going to have skill checks. So Stakeout is going to help you across the board, across all categories. with those great skill checks in terms of points. So it is very good as well if you want to use it, like instead of not using Dead Hard, for example, or Bond for that matter. It will help a lot with the points. Finally, as well, for the items, in case you want to use a more item-focused build, you can bring it streetwise as well. The same thing with build for last, like I mentioned above earlier. Okay, and finally, the last I would recommend for variations is We'll Make It. Just in case you want to get those fast heals off the hook, especially to help fill up your altruism, because you know maybe the killer can come back and get you interrupted, and that's gonna get in the way of you building up your altruism. So I don't know, if you feel like having We'll Make It to heal people faster, feel free to slap it on there as well. Okay guys, so those will be the variations, and this is again the main build that I recommend, what I view to be the most consistent one. Yeah, now let's get to some gameplay so I can kind of explain you guys the strategy behind playing this, as well as show you some examples of why the perks are so helpful. Okay guys, so I start the match here. As you can see, I'm using the build that I recommend. Right away, a small game lets me know about the location of a totem. We're kind of an easy map here. If you know by memory the locations of the totem, you can kind of figure out by yourself too without the perk. But especially on harder maps, it's very helpful to have it there. So right there, I'm just gonna get my first 1,500 bonus for doing nothing basically, without even getting chased. But really, at the start of the game, you should be focusing on doing the gens co-op, get the objective category rid of right away, and then focus. Once you have the objective done, then just focus on doing bonuses, mostly with the totems. Because then you don't have the chase of going to the hook, right? The chance of going to the hook. You see with Bond, I'm able to find my teammates right there very easily. Just start doing co-op. You see right there that filled pretty much half of my entire objective, even though I got only half the gen done on co-op. Now again, Bond helping me find the teammate on the gen. You basically never do solo gens, okay? You just go find your teammates and do them solo. You see right there, a small game pointing me out to another location of the totem. I found another teammate to do a co-op. Another again pointing me out to the totem. I can redo this totem even though I did it earlier because she snuffed it out. But again, I can redo it and I gain the bonus again. I'm doing some self healing, so it's gonna give me the survival category right here. You can see the skill checks also build up towards the survival category. She's chasing me a little bit. I'm cutting the chases. I'm sorry guys. I know you guys like to see that, but I just don't want to make the video too long. Just make it to the point with the build here. You see right there with Bond, I can see him pretty much across the map and get to the heal right there, so I can build my altruism. Again, if you remember earlier, small game pointed me out to the location of this totem as well. So I already know the location of about 3 totems already in the map because of small game, and I can pretty much go anywhere, anytime there, and farm them with the bonus with my boom totem. Again, I got the save. The save is important for you to max out your altruism. Then go to the heal as well. You usually want to get at least 3 saves or so, you know, a few heals as well. You see right there, a small game pointing me out to the 4th location of the totem. I'm going to take the chance to do my co-op there. I finished my objective right there already when I was taking with the Fang there. I did that totem again to build more of my bonus. I'm going to redo this totem as well again to build my bonus. And this all without getting chased, okay? And you can see right there my bonus is already maxed out. And you see again right here the power of Bond. I can see the guy injured. I can go there to heal. You don't need empathy. Bond serves a lot more purpose. If you can heal co-op like I was doing there as well, it's going to build your altruism a lot faster. And here's just to show you guys, if you go down and whatever and you're struggling like this, especially if you're hitting these gray skill tracks right here in the middle, I think it's like about 50 points each, maybe 100. It's quite a bit. So again, I healed myself again there with the boom totem, got more survival points. That struggle also gave me a few survival points. Right here, I was kind of messing up at the end, so she killed me, whatever. So you can see this is kind of the typical result if you die. I maxed out objective bonus. Altruism was kind of right there. And survival usually not that high because you died. But usually that's what you want to see. You want to definitely max out the objective and bonus every match, which is the one you can most have control of. This is the second match. You can see I changed the builds to Stakeout and Dead Hard. But just to show you guys kind of the result of that. Again, I'm still going to like max out objective and bonus very easy. And because I didn't survive, survival category is not that high. But you can see this time altruism was really high because I did get a lot of saves during that match. Okay. So this is what you kind of should be expecting in terms of points for pretty much every game. And see right here, heals at the end of the game like this also give you more altruism points than normal. So you see, this is an example of a match that I did escape. You can see right there, I was using, I think, Dead Hard is a small game, which is another one of the variations. And you can see right here, my survival points will be much higher because I actually got the escape. And you can see right here, this match, I think I got almost 100,000 points, which is kind of crazy if you make the math there. So this is what you can expect from the games, okay, guys, using this build. Take care. Hope it helps. Any doubts, feel free to comment below. I'll help you guys out. And yeah, that's about it. See you guys later.